All right, Patriots. Well, we got a fox in the hen house. And in this video, we're going to break down who Mr. James Talarico is. Now, James Talarico is a Texas state representative who just recently defeated the loudmouth ghetto queen, Miss Ratchet herself, Jasmine Crotchet, in the bid for Texas Senate. So now he's going to be running against either the Rhino, John Cornyn, who's trying to switch up his game and act like he's just so MAGA when all he wants to do is get reelected, and he'll flip on President Trump or MAGA and continue his rhino performance that he did up until now. He needs MAGA to get elected. And or he's going up against Ken Paxton, who most Texans and MAGA support. They know he's a MAGA guy. He's going to support President Trump. He's hard on the border, and he goes crazy on Democrats. So Talarico is going to face off against one of those two men, either Cornyn or Paxton. But in the meantime, what he's been doing is making his rounds. And he's been doing this thing like he's just this upspoken, up straight and upstanding Christian man. And he never can raise his voice above an octave like this. And what he's done, he's stolen a page out of the Barry Soetoro, Barack Obama, just for those who don't know him under his real name, Barry, that he had in Indonesia for a majority of his life. But that's okay. We'll get back to that. But James Talarico snatched the page out of the Obama book, who Obama endorsed over the black woman, Jasmine Crotchet. And you know what the Democrats say? You got to believe all black women and the black queen until it comes to a serious seat in politics. Then that ghetto ratchetness had no place. And Obama endorsed Talarico. And you got to say to yourself, anybody that Obama and Hillary and the whole swamp, the deep state is for, you already know Americans should be against. And Talarico is right up there. Now, in this video, as you see on the screen, we about to set this thing off hot and heavy. And let me start by saying this. I myself am a believer in the Most High God, Jesus Christ. Okay. So, and I don't proclaim to be perfect at all. But like I just said, I don't proclaim to be perfect, and I don't run around speaking as if I'm holier than thou. I'm a man. But we got people like Talarico, as you're going to see in this video, runs around trying to profess and proclaim the word of the Most High God and interpreting to people what the scriptures mean. And if you are somebody believer, when you see it here, the things that he's going to say on this video, your mind will be blown, and you will agree with me and work to do everything we can to keep this man out of the Senate seat. You know why? Because they're trying to set him up at a run and a bid for presidency, not in 2028, but in 2032. So we got to snake him out right now and expose him to everybody. So as you watch this video, when it gets done, if you like it, if you see that this man is a snake because of what you see, not because of what I say, please share this video. Get other people to see it so we don't allow this fox to eat up all the chickens in the hen house. So let's start it off with this. As you can see, Faith Forward, Texas Senate candidate, follows porn actors, escorts on Instagram. And I'm only going to read a little bit of this. James Talarico, a Texas Democrat running for U.S. Senate, who has put his faith at the forefront of his campaign, follows several adult film performers, escorts, and OnlyFans models on Instagram, according to Axios left-wing publications review. The big picture: Talarico, 36, a seminarian and state house member, has become a sensation in Texas politics by talking about how his Christianity is the basis for his democratic politics. So he's made his faith in Christianity his base. That's his everything. But then we find out he's following corn stars, and I got to say corn because YouTube already slipped up once. Corn stars and OnlyFans models. And if you don't know what OnlyFans are, that is an Instagram page that's behind a paywall where these ladies and men do something strange for a little bit of change. Things that you won't want your children to see. You may not let your grandma see it. You won't want to watch it with your mom and dad if you're a regular, normal person. But this is what he's into. So he says he wants to win back Christians who have left the Democrat Party by exposing how Republican policies on immigration and other issues don't align with biblical values. Talarico has drawn large crowds around the state and praise from party leaders, including former President Obama. Red flag. Talarico spokesperson JT Ennis said in a statement that the social media team, including James, follows back and engages with supporters who have large followings and does not investigate their backgrounds. The Instagram accounts Talarico follows typically have at least 50,000 followers. Talarico and his campaign both use his account, has more than 1.7 million followers, but follows only about 3,700 people. The campaign did not make Talarico available to comment. Zoom in. Talarico follows 10 Instagram accounts of women who are popular corn actors, OnlyFans models, and have accounts on escort sites, according to publicly available accounts viewed by Axios in recent weeks. And so that's how we setting this party off. So, you know, he just mistakenly follows not one. Now I can see if it was one, maybe you didn't know, you follow somebody back. Two, you know, we stretching it a little bit, but 10, that's not a mistake. That's an addiction. But check out this first clip. And again, now remember, if you're a believer, especially if you know your Bible, brace yourself, because the things you're going to hear this man say, you wouldn't believe it. If you're somebody who is a supporter of James Talarico and you are a Christian, beware, because he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And he's using that to trick those that aren't thinking and don't have eyes to see through his BS. But check this out.
But I say all this in context of abortion, because before God comes over Mary and we have the incarnation, God asks for Mary's consent, which is remarkable. I mean, go back and read this in Luke. I mean, the angel comes down and asks Mary if this is something she wants to do. And she says, if it is God's will, let it be done. Let it be. Let it happen. So to me, that is an affirmation in one of our most central stories that creation has to be done with consent. You cannot force someone to create. Creation is one of the most sacred acts that we engage in as human beings, but that has to be done with consent. It has to be done with freedom. And to me, that is absolutely consistent with the ministry and life and death of Jesus. And so that's how I come down on that side of the issue.
So this man is saying, and this whole thing was about justifying abortion. So he's saying that, you know, abortion's okay because God asked Mary for her consent, didn't, you know, and she gave it, but consent is everything. So that's why abortion's okay if a woman didn't give her consent, because the Immaculate Conception of Mary. Now, if you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a cash app, a super chat, or a donation, but you hitting that like button, it does help get the video out there to wake up more people. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And when you do, please make sure that you hit the notification bell and select all. That way, YouTube will make sure that you get notified when I upload new videos. Do you see the demonic play in this whole thing? Now, the Immaculate Conception has nothing to do with abortion, but this deranged leftist has tied it into it. And that's just one. We just getting heated up. Now, on this one right here, I want you to listen as he calls Jesus a radical feminist. Check this out.
Did they teach you in Sunday school that Jesus Christ himself was a radical feminist? God is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary.
We should treat our southern border like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front.
I want us all to be aware of is that modern science obviously recognizes that there are many more than two biological sexes. In fact, there are 6, which honestly, Representative Hefner surprised me too. Surprised me too, because I am not well versed in this issue area. I'm not a scientist. I'm a politician. A lot worse than a scientist.
Now, listen to what this man said. Jesus Christ was a radical feminist. There's 6 different genders. God is non-binary. Remember, the Most High God is essence, is spirit. The only quote unquote, I guess, deity, if you want to call it that Satanists pray to, that is a male and a female, is called the Baphomet. That was a physical specimen that has male and female parts that Satanists, demon worshipers pray to. That is whatever deity or whatever they consider to be a deity, the Baphomet. The Most High God is spirit, is essence. So for him to say the Most High God is non-binary because he's male and female is a direct, what would you call it? Abomination of the word of the Most High God. Because the only thing that's associated with that is the Baphomet, and that is demonic. So what he's doing is preaching demonic words to people that buy into this crap. And then 6 biological sexes. Did you hear him say that? And I want to point something out too, if you didn't notice. And this part of the video is a little fuzzy because it's been hard to catch it, but you might not be able to see, but James Talarico is the only one in here wearing a mask. And this is the year 2024, 2025. Nobody's wearing a mask. And we talking about in Texas, except for him. That is deranged insanity. But again, we got more. Now, right here, this is when he goes on with Colbert. Now, I want you to listen now. Is there anybody watching this video that believes that Stephen Colbert is a Christian? If you've watched the things that he's done and you heard the things that he said, he talks about everything but the Most High God and shows his allegiance. He even had an episode where he literally dedicated a baby to Moloch, which is who Satanists what do you call that? Sacrifice little ones to Molech. Again, associated with the same realm of the Baphomet. On the heels of all of the stuff that's taking place in the country right now, seniors, it's extremely important that you make sure you've got the best Medicare plan available, because this year, Medicare plans are expected to increase 10%. And that's $215 out of your Social Security check. And guess what? Some of your doctors may not be in network. Some of your prescriptions may no longer be covered. And that would suck for you to be going to visit your doctor to find out they're not in network, or for you to need a prescription to find out it's no longer covered. Why take the risk? With Chapter, you can reach out to Chapter, and a free phone call can last as short as only 20 minutes and speak to one of the highly skilled, unbiased professionals that will help you make sure you got the best Medicare plan available. If you've got the best, great. But if not, they can make sure you've got what you need. So use that number there on the screen, or visit the website at askchapter.org/realpolitics and let Chapter make sure you've got everything you need. Stephen Colbert did that on his show.
Me! I must appease him with the gift of a man-child! Come to me! I must lead you! I must lead you to the group of ways! Don't take him! Don't take the baby! Take the baby! Don't take me! The baby! I'm sure the baby will be fine.
But listen to Talarico and what he says about gay marriage and abortion as he refers to Stephen Colbert like, Christians like us. Check this one out.
Well, for 50 years, the religious right, a political movement, that is the perfect description for it. They convinced a lot of our fellow Christians that the most important issues were abortion and gay marriage. Two issues that aren't mentioned in the Bible, two issues that Jesus never talked about.
He is a bold-faced fibber, a liar, if that's what you want to call it, and I'm going to prove it to you. Now, anybody that knows anything about the Bible, I'm not somebody that knows the Bible frontwards and backwards, but I do know what I was taught, and I do know what things were referenced to. The Bible directly speaks about homosexuality, and again, if anybody is gay, that homosexual that watches this video, this is no disrespect, but I'm pointing out that what he said was false. So biblical texts often cited as condemning same-sex acts, primarily in Leviticus 18:22, 20:13, and Romans 1:26-27, are interpreted by many scholars as prohibitions against specific ancient practices such as the R word, idolatry, pagan rituals, rather than loving, committed same-sex relationships. Right here, it breaks down what Leviticus says. Leviticus 18:22, 20:13. These verses label a man lying with another male as an abomination, often understood in the context of the holiness code designed to separate Israel from the Canaanite practices. Sodom and Gomorrah, that was a story about that, and they were doing those type of acts. So, and even in Romans, Paul's writing is sometimes interpreted as condemning same-sex acts as unnatural. So, he's lying when he says two things the Bible never talks about and Jesus never mentioned. That is a lie. And he's doing that to play on ignorant voters. Now, he's somebody that talks all against the corporations and taking money from corporations and got to stop that, blah, blah, blah. While he himself is taking money from casino owners, the Democrat darling showered with Miriam Adelson's link money. She's a big-time Vegas casino owner whose husband was a mega donor for the Republican Party at one point. And he has quietly, Texas Democrat James Talarico has built a national profile railing against GOP billionaires in politics, but has quietly accepted funds from a PAC backed by one of the wealthiest donors in the Republican Party. The single biggest donor to Talarico's state house reelection bid last year was a group funded by casino mogul Miriam Adelson, according to state campaign finance data. So understand, he talks about all GOP billionaires and taking money from the billionaires. We got that being while he himself took $59,000, the largest campaign donation he'd ever gotten from a Republican PAC. Understand that. Now, what he may not know is that this was done on purpose. Where the next time he goes to run his mouth and talk out about that, guess what they're going to do? Slap him right with it and show, oh, you talking down against it? What's up with that 60 G's you took from the casino mogul, Miss Adelson? See, these Republicans, the Trump team, these MAGA warriors, they're playing for keeps. And James Talarico, they know he's a snake. He's actually worse than Jasmine Crockett, because I never heard Jasmine Crockett use the Most High God as a campaign trick or a campaign stump. She never did that. She used her ghetto ratchetness, but this guy is willing to step up, misquote the Bible, and have these young people believe in something that is not. Now, check out this clip here where he's going, and this makes me laugh whenever I see a deranged leftist apologizing for their whiteness. I'm not apologizing for being black. And Lord knows there's been some horrible things that have been done by young black people or black people, period. Just like white people, just like Latino. But I wouldn't expect anybody to apologize for what the Most High God blessed them to be born as. That's just insane. But check this out.
For me, prophetic voices like Jesus have helped me reckon with my own whiteness, my own masculinity, my own certainty, my own ego. It's a never-ending process, and it's a painful process. For me,
what the is he talking about? How does Jesus help you deal with your whiteness and your masculinity? You were born a man, and you were born a white man. And with the last name Talarico, I think it might be a little bit of Spanish mixed in there somewhere. Don't know. But just saying, I think it might be. Okay, you saw that one already. Now, right here, this is where James Talarico, Mr. Christianity himself, I want you to watch him fight against the bill for the 10 Commandments to be placed in schools. He's Mr. Christian, God-loving Jesus Christ man himself. See, when he's in front of the media, he does his thing. And this is with all of these politicians. But when you dig to what's going on in the state houses, in the congressional hearings, where they're really having to do their thing and play their position, oh, the real comes out there. But then they'll disrespect something, talk down on it, vote it down, and then come out right in front of the media and say, well, yes, I'm all for this, but the Republicans just have to do it right. But I'm all for it. Lying. You just talk down on it. You just voted against it, but you do the Machiavellian thing. Do you know that majority of Democrats, from what I understand, allegedly, are encouraged, if not forced, to read Machiavelli the Prince, where in the book Machiavelli the Prince, it teaches you to say one thing in public, but practice and believe another thing in private. And that's how you can see a Democrat be for something today, and then the next day when Trump's doing it, the next day be totally against it with a straight face. And then guess what? Trump will leave office. They'll do the same thing again and be for it all over again and act as if they have no idea what's wrong with people, why they're not for this, even though they were just against it right after they were just for it. But check this out, as Mr. quote unquote fake, and I won't say fake Christian man because that's not right, Mr. Christianity proclaiming himself, that's his shtick. Listen to him fight the bill for the 10 Commandments and what he uses to stop it. Check this out.
we as a legislature are about to force every teacher in the state to post the 10 Commandments in their classrooms.
If they are
members
donated.
of the Texas legislature follow the 10 Commandments?
So again, this bill is about honoring our historical, educational, and judicial heritage with the displaying of the 10 Commandments.
The 9th commandment is thou shalt not bear false witness. Are you aware of any legislators who have lied about anything?
That is, there might be one coming up in a minute. If you keep talking, we'll see.
The 7th commandment is thou shalt not commit adultery.
Yes.
Do you think that members of the legislature should focus more on trying to follow the 10 Commandments rather than telling others to follow them?
Maybe they didn't have them posted. It is incumbent on all of us to follow God's law.
So as you saw, this man is pushing back against the 10 Commandments being back in schools like it was when I was little, because everybody in the legislature isn't 100% like Jesus himself and never committed a sin. While he's following corn stars and OnlyFans, I wonder how many people in there know that about him. He's taking money from casino moguls, gambling. How many people know that about him? He's sitting up here lying, talking about how, Jesus in the Bible never talks about gay. He's a liar. He's on Colbert talking about, because Christians like us, we do our Christians. Anybody that has to constantly say, I'm a Christian, 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 is the last person I'm going to believe is a Christian, because it's shown through your actions, not through your words. And based on his actions, he's far from it. Because I don't know about anything in the Bible saying follow corn stars and OnlyFans models. Now, on this last clip, I want you to check out as he's going to debate this young man. And what he says and does is so disingenuous, and it's just to show you how he really feels about illegal immigrants. And if he feels that way about illegal immigrants, 9 times out of 10, he's your typical deranged Democrat. This is how he feels about all minorities. Because listen to how they speak, and this elitism coming from Mr. Christianity himself. Check this out, because this is really good.
Nice to meet you.
I'm kind of tough. I'm not soft.
Where we disagree, I think, is this idea that immigrants as a whole are a drain on this country. That's where I strongly disagree, because these immigrants are doing jobs that native-born Americans won't do. And here, I'll give you an example. Let me just give you an example.
I disagree.
There's
How do you know that?
I'll give you an
Who did
example.
you ask?
Let me give you an example.
Who did you ask instead of they don't want that job?
I talked to an avocado farmer
Okay.
in California who's been running this farm for 20 years. He said he has never had a native-born American apply to work for one of his jobs. And
Let me ask you a question. Real quick. Okay. How many black people are in California?
In Los Angeles or
In California in total?
I don't know. I don't know much about California.
It's under 7% now. He doesn't have enough people that need jobs in California for you to make that statement toward Texas.
It's not even that
Texas,
jobs.
More black people stay in Texas. More foundational white Americans stay in Texas.
Let's just talk holistically. There are 7
But
million jobs.
holistically doesn't work for everyone.
These Democrats, whenever somebody says, let's do this holistically, that means I'm about to make up some pie in the sky BS, and we're going to take perfect case scenario for what I'm about to say. And like he cut it off, he said, no, that doesn't work. I'm very good for him.
I'm talking globally about the economy. There are
Globally,
7 million jobs
US.
that are unfilled in this country. We have more jobs than we do workers in America right now. And these are, as you know, some of the toughest jobs, right? Picking our fruit, taking care of our children and our elders, paving our highways. These are jobs that are difficult.
Fruit
and
pickers.
The research shows that
Babysitters.
undocumented immigrants are really just competing against other recent immigrants. They're not competing with native.
Bold-faced lie, because I'm sure y'all heard as soon as they booted all of those doggone illegal immigrants out from driving trucks, do you know how many American truck drivers were hired? What about at the Toyota plant, where they had thousands of illegal immigrants there working? When they booted all of them out, guess what? Them jobs opened up. You see what they do? They take jobs talking about picking avocados and working on farms when less than 1%, y'all, just so you know, less than 1% of illegal immigrants work agriculture jobs. They don't have to. They're on welfare, getting government aid. So all of this talk about how all the illegals are just going to run to the farms and they're going to loving to do the cleaning and the cooking. They see these videos too. And they laugh when they hear the Democrats saying that, like, so what? Y'all think because the blacks used to do it and now they don't do it no more, it's like our turn? No. But listen to how they speak about these people as if they're just slaves, they're servants. And that's the only reason they want them here, to vote and to clean their toilets and serve their food and pick their freaking avocados for their guacamole. That's racist.
Born Americans who, in many cases, whether it's that avocado farm or whether it's other industries across the country, native-born Americans will not sign up to mow our lawns. And so if we go after these immigrants, we're not just hurting them and their families and their ability to live the American dream. We're hurting the entire economy. We're hurting ourselves. And then I'll go one step further. Those immigrants go on oftentimes to create jobs.
Oh my
Half
God.
of all Fortune 500 CEOs are immigrants. A quarter of all entrepreneurs are immigrants. The research shows that immigrants and their children have a higher economic mobility rate than native-born Americans. So these are strivers. They're dreamers. They're doers. Unlike what some politicians say, in the vast majority of cases, these countries are sending their best, and they do make us stronger and richer through their military service and through doing the jobs that need to be done in this economy.
All right.
He is so disingenuous. So disingenuous. Okay, you talking about immigrants. Nobody's talking about immigrants. We're talking about illegal immigrants that came through under the Biden administration. Those are not CEOs. They are not creating jobs. But see how they conflate? He said immigrants. He didn't say illegals or undocumented, as the left try to say. And see, when you got somebody like that brother at the table, he's not paying attention to that. So he's just listening to that like, oh, they're CEOs. Yeah. The immigrants, they came here the right way and they're legal citizens now, but they're still immigrants. They're not illegal. They're not undocumented. Or how many of them just were brought in through HB1 visas? But see, this is just to show you what type of liar, what type of snake this man is, and how he thinks of people as servants for him and the Democrat Party. James Talarico can never become senator in this country, ever. He's trying to do the Barry Soetoro thing, and we saw how that worked out. Obama tricked us all. I voted for Obama his first term. And I'm talking about a year and a half into it, I realized I was sold. I fell for the BS. I actually thought, okay, here's somebody that really the country has selected somebody that's half black. We're moving in the right direction. I'm all about this. And I was a Republican. Worst thing, I got sold a bag of goods too. And I knew better. But he was a great speaker. And the media push was hard. They had Hollywood-style choreography for his campaign. Talarico's trying to go that route, but we're not going to let him. So I wanted to bring you this. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about what you saw. Tell me that that's not demonic, what you just saw and heard from this man. Only a demon was saying do what he did. But we going to do what we can. I'm going to keep putting stuff out to make sure James Talarico does not become Texas senator. And his job, he's done with politics for a while because he's not going back to the state representative, gave that up to run for this. Let's make sure he does not have a job come this November. Are you with me? If so, put yes in the comment section for me that you with me. And let's keep this sucker, this demon, away from the Texas Senate to protect our country, because we don't need any more radicals. And radicals like him, that's within the lie, using the name of the Most High God, is the most dangerous demon there is. So if you stayed and you watched this video up to this point, thank you so much. Obviously, you're a patriot that's committed to rooting out the evil in politics as best as we can. If you haven't already, hit that like button. And if you aren't subscribed already, subscribe. And if I did say it, I think I did, but let me thank you from the top and bottom of my heart. If you did stay and watch the video, I apologize if I didn't thank you, because taking the time out to do it, it means something. It means a lot to me. And I really do appreciate you for it. So, just make sure that you stay safe and that you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.